Hi folks, this is all the fruit. I'm on the Heidelberg University campus where I found a pretty unique walnut that's puzzling me. I thought here I can make a lot of easy fruit and nut videos because there is a whole book about the trees in the arboretum, but no, it's not that easy. Right behind me is a giant hazelnut shrub and I have no idea what it is. And here is a walnut. I discovered it today, and then I remembered that I had actually discovered it 1 or 2 years before and already forgot about it. It looks a lot like the normal walnut that is being cultivated throughout Europe and most of Western Asia, Juglans regia. The leaves look like this, the bark looks like this. It's definitely a feral tree, it's not been planted. But when you come to the fruit, they're like kind of small. The surface almost looks like it's shriveled up. Also the shape, this does not look like Juglans regia at all. Also, I don't know if this is really shriveled up. I guess it's supposed to be like this. Pretty interesting. Yeah, resembles Juglans regia a lot, but not exactly. So I wondered what could it be? Could it be a hybrid between Juglans regia and Juglans nigra, which is the second most common walnut planted around here? But there is no Juglans nigra around. What I found around here is some Juglans regia, although a little bit atypical. This is not the really typical shape of the fruit, which, well, we tend to call them nuts. They are not a nut, as you can see. They're a green juicy fruit with a seed, which is the real walnut. This doesn't look like a typical walnut, but the plan puts it down as Juglans regia, so we are gonna believe them. Then, on the other side, there is Juglans Mandschurica. Yeah, the plant calls it Juglans Mandschurica nowadays. A lot of sources say Juglans Mandschurica, Juglans catayensis. That's pretty much more or less the same, but according to plan, it's Juglans Mandschurica. So here we have this a little bit untypical Juglans regia. Here this Juglans Mandschurica. As you can see, the fruit have a different shape and are also quite hairy. So hairy that stuff tends to stick to them. Actually somewhere here, where was it? I dropped the Juglans Mandschurica fruit, I have to say, not nut, on the ground, and a lot of hair and other stuff stuck to it. And then here, pretty much in the middle between both trees, let's put it in the middle, there is our walnut. Well, it's definitely not Juglans Mandschurica. Look at the leaves, they are very different. Also the fruit are very different. Even the inflorescences, the shape of the inflorescence is very different. The one of Juglans Mandschurica is much longer, and actually sometimes there can be a lot of fruit along this inflorescence. This one is short, like in Juglans regia. However, the fruit look really untypical. This shape, also they are shriveled up, also they are quite hairy. I hope you can see this. Look at the Juglans regia. It has, well, there is a hint of really short hairs, but they are really short. Now look at Juglans Mandschurica. A lot. Where is it? Here it is. A lot more hair, a lot more prominent, and as I showed you, they can actually trap animal hair and thistle fluff and other things in those hair. And this seems to be kind of in between. The hair are pretty well visible, I think even on this cheap phone. They're pretty well visible. So I've been wondering for 2 years now what this is, forgetting about it, rediscovering it, and starting again to wonder. When you look at the fruit from the inside, that's how you open that's how you open unripe Juglans regia fruit. You cut them in half with the knife along a seam so that the two shells stay separate neatly. I tried the same with Juglans Mandschurica. It doesn't work because the seam doesn't really exist in Juglans Mandschurica. You can see where it's supposed to be, but it's completely ossified. So I had to break this with a rock, which you shouldn't do with Juglans regia if you have a knife, because you'll end up with a mess. This unknown walnut, well, you can see it has a very thin shell. And I was able to split most of the fruit along this seam, which also puts it closer to Juglans regia than to Juglans Mandschurica. Yeah, now my question is this just some a little bit freakish Juglans regia? I mean, those feral nuts, they are just a result of some random pollination between two walnut trees, so you never know what the result will be. It's definitely not, it's definitely not the same as the mother tree or the father tree, but something different. So is this just some freaky feral walnut, or could it actually be a hybrid between Juglans regia and Juglans Mandschurica? What do you think? Probably with Juglans regia as the mother, because the features are a lot more closer to Juglans regia. Here again, Juglans regia, our strange little walnut with a shriveled and hairy skin, and a little bit, well, it's not really unusual, but at least a little bit peculiar shape of the fruit. And here for comparison, Juglans Mandschurica, although I cannot guarantee you that it's not Juglans catayensis, because now it's being said that they are quite close together. Yeah, the underside of the leaves, yeah, Juglans regia completely naked underneath. This hybrid also completely naked. Well, both have some small acaridomatia, which in this one a little bit more pronounced. This one completely hairy underneath. So this thing is definitely closer to Juglans regia, but is it a real Juglans regia, or could it be a hybrid between both? Please, folks, write in the description. I'm really interested for you to help me to identify the strange walnut. Okay, stay tuned for a lot more fruit videos from the parks and gardens of Heidelberg. And don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe.